Hello, everyone. And wow, do we have some breaking news for you? Don't worry, you didn't miss any alerts. And it took me a couple of minutes to get set up because I just got an alert on my phone maybe 15 minutes ago. And in between, I had to talk to Duty Ron. So, hi, Duty Ron. I see that you are in the chat. At 10:15 a.m. this morning, former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke was arrested for offering a sex act and public lewdness. You may recall, James Burke was the Suffolk County Police Commissioner during the time that the Gilgo 4 bodies were found in 2010. This is a major, in my mind, major thing. I'm going to show you some video from News 12 with regard to his arrest, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So let me get to the video. Hang on one second. I can't hear the sound either. One sec. Hold on.
Breaking now on News 12, former Police Chief James Burke has been arrested. Right now, we don't know many details, but we're told he was arrested this morning by Suffolk Park Rangers in Brookhaven. Burke was previously convicted back in 2012 for beating a suspect in police custody and covering it up. He was sentenced to 46 months in prison, and we'll bring you the latest details once we get them.
Okay, so that's all we have right now. He was arrested this morning at 10:15 a.m. at a place called Bald Hill, which is in Suffolk County, where he was allegedly offering a sex act at the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park, which was formerly known as Bald Hill. Thank you to Duty Ron for turning me on to that information. According to officials, Suffolk County Park Rangers Targeted Response Unit arrested Burke. Burke has been charged with offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation with additional potential charges pending. So you may recall, and we've talked about this before on the show, that in 2012, Burke was arrested for beating a prisoner in Suffolk County. There was a man named Christopher Loeb who broke into Burke's police issued vehicle, and allegedly stole a bag out of the back seat of his car. And it was discovered that in the bag was sex toys, pornography, I believe a gun. And there's some, information, I don't know, I can't verify this, that there may have been a snuff film in there, but there was definitely some sort of pornography on tape. So Burke and a couple of officers brought him into an interrogation room in Hop Hog, which is also in Suffolk County, and apparently they beat the crap out of him. You can look at Christopher Loeb's TikTok. He's all over TikTok. He's still talking about this. And as a result of what happened subsequent to the beating of Christopher Loeb in 2012, Burke was eventually sent to prison because it was found that he conspired with other police officers to cover it up. So he eventually went to prison, and he's since been released from prison. And now that he's out of prison, he's just been arrested this morning for soliciting prostitution. He served 46 months in prison for the incident with Christopher Loeb. And as a result of that incident, the Suffolk County District Attorney, Tom Spoda, also went to prison. And Tom Spoda is still in prison. Tom Cusinelli says, I wonder if he's on parole. I'm pretty sure he probably is. Kirsten says, I wonder how deep Burke's illegal behavior goes. Was arrogant and thought he could still get away with this crap. Yeah, I don't understand this. According to Duty Ron, and he's probably going to go into more depth with this later, This place, Bald Hill, in Suffolk County, is a known place for people to solicit sex workers, escorts, to commit lewd acts. And, my question is, were they tailing him? Did they think, is there something involving Burke with Gilgo? Did Heuermann tell them something? Did they get a tip that Burke may be deeper into this Gilgo situation than we know? Have they been following him, waiting for him to commit an act where they could get him and hold him on something? What do you guys think about this? In 2010, when he was the Suffolk County Police Commissioner, when the Gilgo 4 bodies were found, they had a description of Heuermann from Amber Costello's roommate, who was the last of the Gilgo 4 to go missing. That roommate, his name is Dave, gave a description to the police of Heuermann as being a white male, 6'4" to 6'6", with a lot of hair, I believe was part of the description, and drove a green Chevy Avalanche. That tip was in the file. And because of what Burke was doing on the side, he's got an issue where apparently they found him, or he was accused of, or it was proven that he was doing sex acts with a prostitute in the back of his police vehicle. And that's in the public record. So that's for sure. He did not let the FBI into the Gilgo investigation in 2010 because of that, because he didn't want them looking into him. So I don't know if there's a connection between what happened today and what happened in 2010, but we're going to find out. Charisma, wouldn't that be weird if he had something to do with Shannon Gilbert? The police were called that night. Right. The police were called that night. Duty Ron said something that somebody said is crazy. So let's go back to that. Yeah. James Burke still receives a $145,000 a year police pension, despite what he did. Maybe they'll do a press conference today on this. Maybe there's a lot more to this story than we know. But going back to the reason that he did federal prison time, and this is something else that, John Ray, the attorney who said some things the other day about Mrs. Heuermann possibly being involved in the Gilgo 4. He's been, screaming about this for a long time, and Burke and the potential Burke involvement in this. So, yeah, no, Donna, he's no longer a cop, but I would imagine that he's still on parole. In fact, I'm going to look that up in the Suffolk County system right now. So give me 1 second. But in the meantime, tell me what you guys think. I mean, if he was indecent exposure, that means he had his parts out this morning when he was arrested. Is anybody horrified? Wow. Duty Ron says he will receive that pension for the rest of his life, even if he gets convicted of murder. How is that possible? Rita, was male hooker in the park a sting? Hope they can lean on him. Gilgo, Shannon was a locals hit. Yeah. Do we know that it was a male hooker, or are we guessing that it was a male hooker? Tom, why would they use the park rangers to collar him? I would think they'd use the troopers and the Suffolk County PD. It was on park rangers property. I believe it's a county park. So maybe they had some sort of, prostitution sting happening today, but I find it kind of hard to believe that it was just coincidental that Burke was arrested this morning. I think I wonder if they were watching him too, Tara. That's what I'm thinking. Were they watching him? Did they get some information? Does this have anything to do with the Gilgo 4? PB&J. It would not shock me if Burke was involved with Shannon. She was so close to that beach road. Deuteron, we need another road trip for Shannon. Yeah, we might have to take a ride down there today. Thank you, Andrea, for the super chat. Thanks from Germany. Thank you for watching from Germany. Okay, Michael Allen, whose Google searches will show if he is a double dipper. Rosemary, will James Burke be charged with obstruction of justice for derailing the Gilgo Beach murders case? We're going to find out. We're going to find out because remember, the charges that he was jailed on had nothing to do with the Gilgo investigation. It had everything to do with the cover-up of the beating of the inmate Christopher Loeb. And eventually, when Burke and Spoda were indicted, I believe that Loeb's sentence was commuted and he was let out. So this is an ongoing thing. I want to see if there's any video that is a little more current than this. And I didn't really get to set up, so this is going to be a little bit wonky right now as far as shaking the laptop. But let's see what we have here. All right, here's some more video from the Daily Mail. Let's take a look at this. We can look at least at the photos. They have some still photos. Let's take a look. Okay, apparently Burke, 58, was arrested at 10:15 this morning by a targeted response unit on suspicion of soliciting a prostitute. Here's a picture of him stepping out in July. Well, the media has been watching him. We know that. Let's see what this video is. This is just a spotting of him, but we'll get a look. Not really any audio with this. It's just a picture of him going into the trunk of his car. The Daily Mail's been on to him. Not really much here. It's a far cry from what he used to look like. This is what he used to look like. And this is around 2011. This is the official Suffolk County Police Department headshot. He became the police chief in 2011. He was accused of hampering the serial killer probe. Burke has largely flown under the radar since his 2018 release from a 46-month sentence for assault and obstruction of justice charges. Burke broke cover a week after a suspect was arrested in the Gilgo Beach murders case, which he had been accused of hindering when he was chief of police. Picture of Hurman. Remember, they had all of that information. They had the description of Hurman back in 2010, and it was kind of buried. Here's something else, and I wish that Kat was here, Oblivious Benson, to discuss this with me, but I texted her and she has not responded. Spoda, who you recall was the former district attorney of Suffolk County, was good friends with Burke. And the reason that they were good friends is because Burke, Jimmy Burke, when he was a kid, I think he was 14 years old, was a star witness in a criminal case in Suffolk County. And Spoda tried that case. He was the trial lawyer in that case. Jimmy Burke, who also went by another name, and if Kat was here, she could tell us because we found this case, did a horrifying thing where he stuffed rocks into a kid's mouth. It was a beating of another kid. He testified in that trial to have someone else convicted when he was 14, and Spoda was the trial lawyer. After that, they got tight. And I believe, and Kat can correct me on this later, he was then a witness in another case. Eventually, Burke goes to the police academy, and Spoda now owes him, I guess, a favor and hires him to come and work as an investigator for the Suffolk County Police Department. Eventually, Spoda becomes the district attorney. So now they're kind of like, it's a quid pro quo thing going on here. Spoda becomes the district attorney with the help of Burke and his cronies in the police department. And then Spoda helps Burke become the Suffolk County Police Commissioner. This is how deep these ties go. And this goes all the way back to 2010 when the Gilgo Four were found. So let's not forget about the Gilgo Four and the three that Heuermann has already been indicted for murdering. And this is about them. Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, who we hope that he will be indicted on soon. What do you guys say? What do you think? Okay, wait, hold on. Chat's moving pretty quickly here. Well, they have been saying when one SK gets caught, the other SKs want credit for everything. This guy may have started to get sloppy, or law enforcement worked on that theory to shake it up. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. All right, so Heuermann has, as we know, been indicted for the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. Amber Costello's roommate is the one who gave the description of Heuermann to the police in 2010. He was the last person to see her alive. I don't have a law enforcement background. My background is in law. I'm an attorney. I have 30 years experience as a New York State and actually Nassau and Suffolk County trial lawyer. Not in law enforcement, but I'm just saying that it seems to me that the last person to see Amber Costello alive is a pretty important witness. And what that guy had to say should have been taken a lot more seriously and should have been investigated. But Burke didn't want the FBI in. He kind of put the kibosh on the investigation, really. And it was never investigated. I also think that I could have done a search in my law firm by looking up in DMV, which is the Department of Motor Vehicles system, all the men in the area who were that height. Trust me when I tell you that not a lot of men on Long Island are 6'4" or 6'3". And then cross-referencing it with all the green Chevy Avalanches registered within a certain radius. And the car was registered to him. So when a New York State trooper who came onto the task force in 2022 was able to put those pieces together because she looked at the file relatively quickly, they zoomed in on him right away. And he was still here in Massapequa, living in the same house that he was living in 2010 when these murders happened. Not only that, he was still in possession of that car. But actually he gave it to his brother, who now had it in South Carolina. But immediately the police went down there and confiscated the car and brought it back up to Suffolk County. So this is crazy. Steph, eyewitness plus the vehicle, that's a jackpot. Why would that not be followed through? That's why. Because Burke did not want the FBI looking into him. There have been rumblings, and I'm not saying that this is true, but is it possible that Burke, because he had a history of hiring sex workers, may have known one or more of the Gilgo Four victims, may have had interactions with them at some point before? Had they looked into that too deeply, would they have found his cell phone number in the victims' phones? These are all things we don't know. We don't know any of this yet. Have they been watching him? Did they get a tip? Thank you, Galen, for the $9.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. This is huge, you guys. This is huge. Was this incident in the park recently? Yes, it was this morning. He was arrested at 10:15 a.m. It is right now 2:30 p.m. New York Times. And this story only broke, it says it was updated an hour ago. So I got an alert on my phone maybe within the hour. I hope they have a police a press conference at some point today. Is Burke in jail? He was released from jail. I think we just said in 2018. So I believe they're holding him now, waiting for an arraignment. Maybe he'll be arraigned today. Maybe he'll be arraigned tomorrow. Do they still have cell phone records? I'm sure that they have them somewhere. I don't know if his cell phone records can be retrieved at this late date. I know they have retention policies depending on the carrier. Hi, Donna Marie. So now what? What's the next move? He's going to be arraigned. And it's probably going to be in Central Islip. And I don't know if they will arraign him today or tomorrow. This is all just breaking right now. So we're good. This remains to be seen. I just thought we should get on real quick and talk about this because there's not a lot of information about it. Becky Barnes, it really makes you think twice about him now. I can't wait for some official confirmation from law enforcement, like a press conference. Well, we were thinking twice about him already on this show. I'll tell you that much. We were, and a lot of people were afraid to say it. And, you know, I 100% back the blue always. Okay. I have a lot of police in my family. I 100% back the blue. But when they do something like this, I'm going to call it out. It doesn't mean that all cops are bad. Just like, you know, not all doctors are bad. Some of them are terrible. They get sued for malpractice a million times. There are lawyers that are bad. There are police officers that are bad. There are judges that are bad. There are priests that are bad. But that doesn't mean all of them are bad. But you can't let something like this slide. You just can't. Liz W. 490. Thank you for the super sticker, Liz. I appreciate you so much. More victims will surface, the more the truth is uncovered. Maybe we've been speculating that, you know, once the Gilgo 4 were found, that if Rex is the guy, because innocent until proven guilty, did he have to find another dumping ground because that dumping ground was no good anymore? And, you know, the bodies that were washing up and the torsos and all of those things weren't found until around that time either. So we don't know. If anybody has any information on any new or more recent videos, since I'm talking to you guys, it's hard for me to Google at the same time, but I know Rachela is very good at Googling things for me. But I think she said she was driving. Send me the link. I can come up with audio only in the office. You got it, dude. Hang on one sec. Duty Ron is coming on. He's in his office, so he couldn't go live with me on video, but let me just text him my link. There you go. I texted it to you. Do you need me to email it to you, or are you good? Let me know. Or text me. I have my phone next to me, although. Can we get a recap, please? Says Wendy. Yes, this morning at 10:15 a.m., former Suffolk County Police Commissioner James Burke was arrested in Suffolk County at a Suffolk County park, which is called the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park, formerly known as Bald Hill, for offering a sex act, public lewdness, and indecent exposure and criminal solicitation. I'm so excited about this. I can't even spit the words out. With additional potential charges pending. This just happened at 10:15 a.m. New York time. It is now currently around 2:30. Yeah, Diana. I'm waiting for Duty Ron to come through. Perfect timing. The above the law poster boy rears his ugly head once again. How stupid is this guy? How stupid is he? He's on He's probably still on parole. I haven't had a chance to look that up because I'm talking to you guys. But all you need to do is go into the Suffolk County criminal web crims, the place where you can look up for criminals and their current court dates. Actually, I might have to go into the prisoner system to find out if he's still on parole. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know who he was soliciting. We don't know if he called someone and arranged to meet them there. We don't know if he was just out trolling and just happened to get picked up by the Suffolk County Park Rangers Targeted Response Unit, or if they've been tailing him, waiting for him to do something stupid like this. I guess sex addicts just don't stop, right? Kind of like serial killers just don't stop or take a break. I want to know what happened to the prostitute. Yeah, or was it an undercover? Were they trying to get him on something? His photo, you want to see his photo? Okay, hang on a second. And we'll show the video again because I know a lot of you are just joining. So let's go back and we'll take a look, and I'm going to show you the video again from News 12.
Breaking now on News 12, former Police Chief James Burke has been arrested. Right now, we don't know many details, but we're told he was arrested this morning by Suffolk Park Rangers in Brookhaven. Burke was previously convicted back in 2012 for beating a suspect in police custody and covering it up. He was sentenced to 46 months in prison, and we'll bring you the latest details once we get them.
I'm trying to hear what the reporter's question was since I have an earbud on. Let me hear, because he didn't answer them anyway. But let's watch this one more time. See if we can get what the question is.
Breaking now on News 12, former Police Chief James Burke has been arrested. Right now, we don't know many details, but we're told he was arrested this morning by Suffolk Park Rangers in Brookhaven. Burke was previously convicted back in 2012 for beating a suspect in police custody and covering it up. He was sentenced to 46 months in prison, and we'll bring you the latest details once we get them.
I can't hear what the reporter's saying. I think she's saying something like, do you have anything else to say? Do you have anything to say? And that looks like the Central Islip criminal courthouse, but I can't be sure. I mean, but that's the material that it's made of. So here comes Duty Ron. Let's get him in.
Hey, Mel.
Hello. Hi, Duty Ron.
Hey, thanks for having me. I hope the audio is okay. I'm in my office. So.
Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great, actually.
Yeah, so I appreciate you getting in contact with me. Immediately you text me. I was in a meeting and I called you right back. I didn't even see that you called, but I was just like, wow. I read the text message and I couldn't believe it. This location, Melanie, as I told you, I'm well aware of it because over the past 30 years or more, I've been traveling back and forth when my father was still alive to Suffolk County. My stepmother lives in the Rocky Point area. So you have to go up County Road 83, over Bald Hill, past it. So I know the history of this place. My dad had told me when he was alive, don't stop in there, because I told him I stopped just to see like a sunset. He was like, oh, it's he reads the newspaper all the time. My dad was always on to stuff. And he's like, that's a spot for drugs and prostitution. And he said also gay males would meet there and have sex there. So there's a lot of moving parts to the story. It's breaking. We're getting just very limited information on it. But I'm so happy that you went live. If I was able to go live, I absolutely would have been live. But tonight we're going to break it down and we're going to go over everything.
Yeah. Tom Cusinelli says, Melanie, that's the video when he got collared the first time by the
Yes.
FBI. Oh,
yes.
Okay. So this isn't even video from today.
Yeah, that's old file footage. If you look at that, that's when he was collared and taken to, he was taken into custody, and then he ultimately went to federal prison. If you look at the two pictures from what they showed today, I think he showed it earlier on the stream. He looks like holy hell. He didn't age well.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking, wow, is this video from today? Because he looks like he did back in like 2012.
Yeah,
And the video, he looks a lot skinnier now. And like he was in prison for 46 months. So,
right.
um,
And,
what
and
do you,
here's the thing I wanted to clear up. I'm sorry, Mel,
sure,
because I
please
only got
do.
limited time. So I
Go
wanted to
talk.
clear up the issue about the police pension. Under the police pension law of New York State, you can commit a murder, you could commit a violent felony, you could commit any crime. Once you are collecting your public police pension, you'll get it in your commissary in a federal prison. He was getting it when he served his 46 months. That 145,000 and change that we discussed, he will get that until he dies, and that's the law. It's not. It doesn't seem fair, right? But
No.
like, in other words, if he was an active police chief, that's what he was in the police department. He was the rank of a chief, police chief. When he was a police chief, if he committed these crimes, yes, it would have been removed. He would not be, he would lose his pension. But once you are collecting that pension and you're fully vested and you're done, severed ties with the police department, that pension cannot be taken away from you.
Okay, that's insane. So they can pretty much do anything they want and never get their pen. So is there anything that will
No,
eliminate your pension?
nope.
How is that possible? Somebody needs to
Don't
change the law.
don't shoot the messenger. I'm just
No,
the
I know, I
messenger.
know. I'm
Yeah, I absolutely get what you're saying. It's disgusting and repulsive. You would think that if you committed a murder, that they would take a public police pension away from you, but unfortunately, I worked with. Okay, so I worked with a detective in Queens Warrants that had an altercation in Westchester County, but he was on the job still. And he punched somebody and got into a fist fight. He was a big dude and he killed the person. He went to prison he went to jail, went to prison, and he lost his pension. And rightfully so, right?
mhm.
But had he had been retired and off the clock, had punched off the police department and collecting his pension, he would be getting that pension every month into his commissary, into wherever he was serving his time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's insane. I mean, they
yeah,
need to change that law. I can't even. I
yeah.
mean, Spoda was disbarred within 10 minutes of him getting convicted. He didn't even show up, in fact, to fight it.
Right. Different set of circumstances, right? He wasn't part of the police pension system, and once you're
Right.
part of that police pension system, uh, again, you're collecting it. They unfortunately cannot take it away from you, and it might be different in different parts of the United States. So this is in the New York State police pension system, and that's what I'm basing it on. But here in this situation, the charges, acts of offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation. These aren't felony charges. These are all misdemeanor charges. So again, I'm not trying to discount this.
Mhm.
This is disgusting. He's a pig. He's gross. I told you, I text my wife exactly what you text me, the same story. And
Mhm.
her response was pig with the pig emoji right back to me, my wife.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's pretty much the consensus in the chat as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, listen, he was like you said, we back the blue 120%, right? But
Yeah.
when there's something like this, and in any case, listen, I have live streams on my Crime Time with Duty Ron site of I had a female sergeant active who drove a Mercedes Benz and got locked up for shoplifting. I went live with that. I was retired. I wasn't still active, but I
Mhm.
cover the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Yeah.
So in this case, as soon as I saw that message from you, I called you immediately. I was like, I can't do it now, but let's go live tonight. So I'm glad that you're live with this. I mean, does this help open up the door to the Gilgo task force investigating further into James Burke? They shouldn't have needed this to do that, but this certainly puts it out in the public where they now almost have to look at all of his engagements and his interactions with prostitutes and girls who were, working in that industry. And the police have the Suffolk County sheriff Mr.
Mhm.
Toulon, who is, they have a whole unit set up to interview, women who were in that trade that are incarcerated currently to see if they had interactions, not only just with Rex Heuermann, but I'm sure that in that line of questioning as a New York City retired detective, I would certainly be asking about Dirty James Burke. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, do you think that this was a targeted thing, or do you think that he was just stupid enough to be out there soliciting prostitutes or sex workers or whatever the hell they just got him on? Tell everybody what public lewdness is, like you told me.
Yeah. That's the thing is they have to, look at every interaction that, now they're going to be able to look at James Burke's phone leading up to this crime, right? It's part of
Yeah.
an investigation. They're going to see what he did and who he was contacting, whether it was a man or woman. It doesn't really matter at this point. Conducting a lewd act in a public place, his private parts, like you said, had to have been exposed to public view. And I don't think that this, and in my opinion, that, in regards to your question that you asked me, I don't think that they were targeting or following James Burke. I think that he just happened to be just a dirty dog, and he came up into this. And what Suffolk County former police executive doesn't know about Bald Hill? I'm just a regular guy who is traveling back and forth to my parents' house, and my own father told me, "Don't stop there, son. It's a shitty place. It's not. I know you don't like the cursey words, but it's a
No,
crummy
that's
place.
okay. You can.
I'm sorry. I like to
We're
be
live. We're
respectful.
live. This is the live.
Okay, so my dad, God rest his soul, when he was alive, he said, son, don't stop there. There's a lot of shitty things going on there. And then that opened my eyes, and the detective in me, I started researching it. And yeah, it's a place for drug sales. It's a place for male prostitution, and probably female prostitution, but it was known for male engagements and connections from my reading. Bald
Was
Hill
your
is right off of County Road 83 in Suffolk County.
was your father in law enforcement?
No, he's a commodities exchange. Well, he had his own seat on the COMEX, so he's a trader, and he went back and forth to the World Trade Center. But he, at the time when he told me about that, he was already retired, and just like somebody who reads the paper all the time and is up to
Right.
date on things going on in his community. And that Farmingville, Rocky Point, Sound Beach, that whole area is just you get all the news there. So so that's how, when you told me about it, I was like, oh wow, Bald Hill. Yeah, I know about that place. I actually did a live stream from the top of that location. It's actually a beautiful site where you could see to the Long Island Sound, and you could see Long Island from the top of Bald Hill at the Veterans Memorial. And they only constructed that Veterans Memorial like within the last 2 decades, somewhere in between 10 and 20 years ago.
So he was just stupid enough to go there, to a place that is well known by Suffolk County Police and Suffolk County Park Police and the park rangers to be a place where sex is solicited and sex acts are conducted. And he was stupid enough to go there and do this.
Mm-hmm.
As a guy who, I imagine, if he was released from prison in 2018, that he's still on parole.
I would think so, unless he did all of his time and was released with serving his sentence. I'd have to look at his sentence and see if he was released on federal parole. If that's the case, he violated, and he would have to go back for but he's been out for a while. So even if he did have parole, he might have served all of his parole time. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, because they could have been targeting him. There's a chance, yes. But I feel like the way this thing was written up and what I saw is the task force would have took him into custody. Somebody from Suffolk County police detectives would have taken him in. He wouldn't have been arrested initially by the park police, because what would have happened is if he would have been taken into custody by parks, they could have, just formally put him in cuffs and then handed him over to Suffolk County. And we may hear about that in a press conference. If that's the case, then there's a chance that they just said, hey, we want to enhance this investigation, and they would gladly just give them over to Suffolk PD and the task force for them to enhance it. and that's that's like a detective term, to enhance the case. So that may happen, but as it stands right now, they're putting them as the arresting agency, Suffolk County Park Police.
Yeah, I'm looking at an article in the Daily News that was just published at 2:46, and it says that officials say the arrest came at 10:15 a.m. with Burke taken into custody at the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park. Park rangers placed Burke under arrest, according to media reports. So yeah, it was the park rangers that arrested him.
Yeah,
but
so
Suffolk County District Attorney's Office is saying, well, see, he was busted by county police, so now it's conflicting on charges of. So maybe they turned him over. You're saying, to the Suffolk County Police?
Yeah, I mean, that would happen. Like sometimes, if if we arrested somebody, and they had low-level misdemeanor charges like this, and then somebody else was looking at them in another jurisdiction for a high felony, that we would allow them to, we would process them and then let them take it over. But here it's in the same county, so Suffolk PD can easily, the homicide detectives, can easily take this arrest and process it because it's within their geographical area of employment.
Right. Yeah. Now they're saying, all right, so the charges, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office spokesperson says that Burke was busted on charges of offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation. So I guess those are still the 4 charges that we knew about earlier when this story first broke.
Right. So this lines up with the MO of that location. A lot of, and we may even hear that this is a map that he made this solicitation to. People just park there, and other, like-minded, dirty dogs will show up there and try to offer, a sex act. And this is what it sounds like in the writing, is that he was the one who offered it to someone else, because let's just say they were caught in the act, and then the park ranger separates the two, whether it's a guy and a girl, or him and a girl, or him and a guy, and they separate them and they question this person, and now they get what happened, and now it's put on paper like this because they interview the parties separately and then come up with these charges. So he may have just gone there just with his own knowledge, knowing that this is a place where I can do my thing.
Score.
Yes. Ugh, gross. But
really gross. But now that they've got his phone, they can look to see if he's been talking about the Gilgo investigation, right?
Yes.
Like, oh my God. Just for example, not saying that he had anything to do with it, because, innocent until proven guilty, but oh my God, holy hell, let's hope they don't look into this, and this.
Right. Well, they'd have to have justification to look at his phone, right? So they would have to go and get a subpoena to look at his phone and look at look at his interactions. They can't just do it based on this arrest, because if like, that's what I said, if it gets enhanced, if somebody else takes it over and now they do an enhancement and they say, hey, we do want to look, as the task force, we want to look and see if there's any type of Gilgo related conversation on here, they could go to a judge, and the judge would probably in a second give them a warrant to go into his phone and look through it. But they can't just open it up and just start looking through it.
No. Well, even to see, like, if he solicited any,
it all depends on what. Yeah, it all depends on what the person he was with says and the statements that were made there, and then then they would have to go from there. So this could be very interesting, and this could unfold. It could be just this arrest, and then we don't hear anything else, or it could be really good, whereas they take it and enhance it, and I'd like to see that, because this guy's a dirty dog, and he's not he's a perp. He's not a law enforcement in my eyes. He was someone who was at one time an executive in the Suffolk County Police Department, but he was a dirty piece of shit. And in my eyes, I think that they should look at everything. They shouldn't let anything slip by. And if anything that they can do under the legal guise of the law, letter of the law, go for it. That's how I would go at it.
Right. But, and there's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of people in the chat saying, do you think that he was involved with, possibly Shannon Gilbert? That, nobody looked into Shannon Gilbert, and he was the police commissioner at the time, and nothing happened.
Yeah, Burke
I've
was
had ties to
definitely
Shannon Gilbert, right? I mean, if we know that he's been soliciting prostitutes and sex workers, escorts, whatever you want to call them, and he was arrested for it today, you know, isn't it true? Like I'm cross-examining you. Isn't it true that guys like him just don't stop? You know, that they've been doing this for a long time.
Disease. It's a disease. He's addicted probably to this lifestyle, and he's doing this stuff on a regular basis. And you know, he was known, and it's out there. You could read about it. It's well reported to frequent those parties in Oak Island Association inside where Shannon Gilbert went missing from. Made that 911 call. So he was known to go to these sex parties over there, and you know, there's so much deep stuff with this, you know, where they talk about the elimination of one girl at a party and all those crazy talk. I've read stories where he was at parties like that. So, you know, this guy, I would look at everything. I would leave no stone unturned with this.
I have a question here from PB&J. Who gave Burke drugs while in Club Fed, and how the hell was he able to quash his stint in halfway house in exchange for home arrest after that? Yet Spoda is still in jail. I think Spoda was not convicted until like 2019.
Yeah, I don't have the particulars on Spoda, but you know, we look at the former Suffolk County Police Commissioner and the Suffolk County DA, Cini, right? Cini? Am I saying that right? Tim
Cini, yeah, he came in after Spoda.
Right. So he, in a recent interview with, I believe Newsday, made statements of, listen, when I came in and I started looking at the files and we started shaking the tree up again, and that was when Geraldine Hart came in as a police commissioner. He was the Suffolk County DA.
Yep.
He said that there was a detective that left a note in the file that said, Burke suppressed my case file and said not to go to the FBI. He cut the FBI out of the investigation. Why the F do you think he wanted the FBI out of the investigation? Because he didn't want his ass exposed.
Yeah.
And
he didn't want the FBI looking at him.
Yeah. So how many of these? There's a possibility that this guy is responsible for some of these bodies that are, we don't have a collar on it. And I would be looking at this guy now that you got him for this little minor thing. You throw him to the task force and let the task force enhance it. Let those seasoned detectives go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Let them have a field day with this piece of dirt.
Yeah, and isn't it quite possible, if he had a history of soliciting escorts, let's say, that he had some connection to any one of the Gilgo Four? Not that he was involved with, their murders, but perhaps had interactions with them, perhaps knew them.
Yeah. I mean, anything is possible here. And, one door opens up to another, and you walk down a hallway and lead takes you here. And this could mushroom into something major here. We don't know if he had anything to do with any of these girls' deaths. But this is an opportunity right now for investigators to really run with this. And I hope that they do. I hope and pray that they do. But I'm going to get into it more tonight. If you're available, we'll talk. I have to run, but I thought I would just give you a little bit of the police perspective. This is an opportunity definitely to, again, start looking in places you got to do it right. You can't do it recklessly. You have to get you have to do it the right way is what I have to say. And
right. Yeah. The evidence has to be collected legally. We were talking about that last night on another case.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you to everyone that's in the chat. I see all the comments. I'm looking at it with my secondary device. Melanie doing a great job covering stuff. And, again, like I said, if I wasn't here, I would have been on camera with you guys live. So.
All right. Well, I'll come on with you later. So everyone come back later to Duty Ron's show and we'll talk about this later. Hopefully we're going to have a lot more information by then, because like we said, this story just broke within the past hour.
Right.
And
I'm going to reach out to some of my sources that I have in Suffolk County and see what I can scoop up on this dirtbag.
Sounds great. All right. Maybe I'll take a ride out to Bald Hill and take some video. So we'll have it for later.
Oh my, that would be great. No,
Wait, should I bring somebody who's packing? I mean, you tell me it's going to be dangerous. There's
yeah,
going to be
no,
crime scene tape up all over the place.
I think right now you're safe. Don't go there in the
Don't
early
go.
morning or when it gets dark. According to my dad, said don't go there during the dark.
Oh,
He
all
was
right.
there in the
I'll
morning.
have to. I mean, well, if he was there at 10:15 a.m. and that's when he got busted in the middle of the act with his proverbial pants down,
Can't out.
apparently
Yeah.
it goes on at all parts all during the day.
Yeah, but
Maybe
if
there's
he,
no
like
safe time
again,
to go there.
if we go with the, and I'm not to go back into this conversation, but if he had a meet there and he had this knowledge of at nighttime it's a seedy place, it's not a good place to be, and he had that knowledge, which I think he did, and he's like, oh well, if we go during the day, chances of me getting caught here, they're not really going to be policing it during the day, and that's when it's the safest. Most of the crimes, when I did my research, were happening at darkness. So we'll see. We'll see
A
how
lot
this
of
goes.
a lot of these Suffolk County parks, and I know like Sunken Meadow, which is a state park, they close at sunset. So they close at dusk and they lock it up and you can't even get in there. So I'm wondering,
This
is
isn't.
this a
It's a.
nighttime place
It's
that you can even get into?
yeah. It's not big, Melanie. It's so if you go east, north and south on County Road 83, there's a. If you're going south, there's an entrance, and then you can go and make the turnaround. You can loop around back onto 83 going north. So it's like you can just cut through at night, and there's no gates. As far as I
Oh,
mean, I haven't been there in years. They might have changed it. But the way when I knew it back in the day, you could just cut through, and it was a free pass through just from get one side of the County Road 83 to the other. You know.
my son John says, let me know if you need a bodyguard. All right, dude, when you get off work, come over and we'll go down.
There he is.
We'll
Yeah,
take some video. He's got all the great equipment too, because he's a musician.
awesome.
So he's got everything,
Take the
everything we
kid.
need. Maybe even a gimbal, which I haven't bought yet.
Outstanding, John. All right, Melanie, I'll talk to you later. I got to run.
All right, Ron. I'm sorry you have to work. You know, work sucks, but thanks for
Yeah.
coming in.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Okay. Oh, don't worry about me going. I'm not really maybe going. Maybe I will go, but it's beautiful here and the sun is out. So I think it's going to be okay right now, aside from the crime scene tape. For anybody who is just tuning in, because there are 900 people in the chat. So you haven't all been here for the whole entire time. So let's tell you what happened. We're going to catch you up. Former Suffolk County Police Commissioner James Burke, who was in fact the police commissioner in 2010 when the Gilgo 4 bodies were found on Gilgo Beach, and who did not let the FBI into the investigation, and who had the tip on the physical and vehicle description of Rex Heuermann in 2010, was arrested this morning at 10:15 a.m. at what used to be known as Bald Hill, but it's, I believe, a Suffolk County park known for, let's just say, indecent acts and the ability to solicit escorts, prostitutes, sex workers, whatever you want to call them. He was arrested at the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park by the Suffolk County Park Rangers Targeted Response Unit. And we do not know much more than that, but he has been charged with offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, which means that his pants were down, and criminal solicitation, with additional potential charges pending. There has not been a press conference on this yet. This has just broken, this story, within the past hour. And in he served 46 months in prison, James Burke, for assault of a suspect who broke into his police-issued vehicle and stole a duffel bag out of the back seat. Said duffel bag contained sex toys, pornography, I believe a gun, and some other things that obviously Police Commissioner Jimmy Burke did not want anybody to find. And he took the suspect into an interrogation room and basically beat the crap out of him while several other cops watched. He eventually was convicted of covering that up and the assault and was sentenced to 46 months in prison. He was released from prison around 2018. And just this morning, he was arrested again. Because that's how stupid this guy is. We don't know if it was a sting. I know we're talking about this, Kirsten. Do targeted response units conduct stings? We don't know. What we do know, and what Duty Ron told us, is that Jimmy Burke is still collecting his $145,000 a year police pension, because apparently the police pensions in Suffolk County don't get taken away, even if you are convicted of murder. So this is interesting. Yeah. Rachel, I think Burke could be connected to Shannon. I think that we are all thinking that. Burke did not want the FBI involved in the Gilgo investigation because he did not want anybody looking too closely at his own activities. So this is just breaking. We don't know what else we're going to find. But this is exciting because we are going to hopefully see whether he's got a connection to the Gilgo 4 and or Shannon Gilbert and or Jessica Taylor, any of the other victims, the Manorville butcher cases. Like Duty Ron said, when he came on for a little while before, he couldn't spend too much time with us because he is at his day job. So he said that they will need a warrant to go through his phone to, they can't just go into his phone to see, what they can find, because I'm thinking, has he been talking about the Gilgo investigation with anybody? Has he been saying anything about like, oh my God, I hope they don't find out this. I hope they don't find out that. We'll see. We're going to see, but this is breaking right now. And you are here for it. We are all here for it. Kelcher Cambridge, what about out of the 11 women? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. As far as we know, they haven't connected Hurman to anybody else except for Amber Costello, Megan Waterman, and Melissa Barthélemy. We know that the grand jury is currently been convened and that they are hearing, I believe, the case of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. We have not seen an indictment on that yet. But remember, we also have Jessica Taylor, whose skull was found along Ocean Parkway. We have an unidentified Asian male who was dressed, I think, in women's clothes, it's been reported, whose body was discovered in April of 2011. That same day, the body of a woman who they have called Peaches because she had a Peaches tattoo that they have not been able to identify yet. We still don't know her identity, was also found, as was additional remains of Jane Doe number 7, who was recently identified as Karen Vergata. Shannon Gilbert, although Shannon Gilbert went missing around the same time that the Gilgo 4 were found, Shannon Gilbert went missing in May of 2010 after meeting with a man named Joseph Brewer, who was a client at his home in Oak Beach, which is right near where the Gilgo 4 bodies were found. She went missing that night. She had made a bunch of calls to 911. You can look them up. The calls to 911 were not released until 2022, even though she went missing in 2010. Shannon's body was not discovered until December of 2011. And it was after, actually, she was the last body to be discovered. The 911 calls were not released until May of 2022. And that was after current, newly elected Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney, who came into office January of 2022, formed the task force, the Gilgo Beach Task Force, which has now indicted Rex Hurman for 3 of the Gilgo 4. After Rodney Harrison came in, I believe, from NYPD and is now the Suffolk County Police Commissioner. If I have misspoken, I know you'll correct me in the comments, and that's amazing. So please do that. Yes, please hit the like button if you have not done that already. So there's always been rumblings about what happened with Shannon Gilbert. In fact, the recent task force has said that they still believe that Shannon Gilbert's death was an accident, that she must have run into the marsh and fallen and sadly drowned. However, there was an independent autopsy that was done by Dr. Michael Baden, who suggested in his autopsy that perhaps she had been strangled and it was not an accident. Hi, Scott Messerschmidt. Thanks for showing up. Yes, Diane, you must go back and watch from the beginning. This is insane. Yes, her hyoid bone was broken. We don't know how it was broken, but that is what Baden's autopsy report said. And that was the autopsy that was conducted by Baden at the request of her family, because they did not believe that her death was an accident. They did not believe that she would have run into the marsh and fallen and drowned. But there must be a very good reason, because Rodney Harrison is very credible. He's amazing. He's got a lot of experience. He's an excellent spokesperson for Suffolk County PD. And if he's got a reason to say that he believes it was an accident, I'm inclined to believe him. But at this point, I don't know what to believe, because Jimmy Burke has just been arrested again for soliciting a prostitute this morning and for indecent exposure and offering a sex act, also offering one this morning at a place that is known for this type of stuff, because he's a sex addict and he just couldn't stay away from there. He just couldn't stay out of trouble. He's really that stupid. My bad. So that sentence for Burke was in 2012. He would not be on parole. No, he was not sentenced in 2012. I do not believe. He pled guilty at some point. The incident, the assault happened in 2012. I do not believe. I'm going to go back to my notes. I don't think he went to prison until a few years later. But my notes are all fakakta, and this was, I just kind of jumped on here to talk to you guys about this. So I don't have it right now. If Oblivious Benson was in the chat, she would be on Google right now getting me all of this information. But there are some other people in the chat who may actually know when he did go to prison. If anybody has that information, please let me know. But it was not in 2012. I know that for sure. He's back. Okay, Duty Ron is back. Oh, here he is. Oh, thanks. Because see, I wouldn't have seen that.
All right, so I'm back.
Okay, good. What do you
So
got?
I have some additional information. So according to News Channel 4, high level sources coming from Suffolk County PD, James Burke was arrested in a prostitution sting, allegedly exposing himself and trying to solicit a sex worker at the park, according to a high level enforcement source. Former Suffolk Police Chief James Burke, arrested 10:15 at Tuesday at the Vietnam Memorial. It was a setup by the County Park Police, Suffolk County Park Police. They do these periodic sting operations. Burke, 58, was accused of soliciting a male prostitute and exposing himself. He was charged with the charges we read out: public lewdness. So my dad's intel way back in the day was correct. And he was soliciting a male prostitute. That was a sting operation set up by the state park police. Now, they were probably looking to collar a bunch of people to stop a condition of public morals condition, complaints by residents of the outlying area, which is Selden and that whole Farmingville community. This has been a known issue for many, many years in Suffolk County at Bald Hill at this location. So,
wow. How old is Burke? I think he's about 58. Yeah. Thank you, Darlene Wolf, for the super sticker. I really appreciate you. And thank you. There's a couple more. Liz W. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Kim Alliston. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And PB&J, thanks for the super chat, $4.99. Road trip with you, Duty Ron, and Joey Brooklyn with BJ's size mosquito spray. Show us the distance between G4 to Shannon's site off Ocean Parkway, Oak Island Access Road. Yeah, and I could, do the running. I could run between the houses, and you could just film it and see how long it takes.
Oh boy.
So he just had the bad luck of being caught up in a sting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or-
And that's what I thought. Or obviously there could be the other possibility that they wanted to set him up for that with that sting. But I highly doubt that. I think that this is a condition that's been there, known for a long time. They probably, if we look at the history, we could probably go back and look at arrest records from that location. Many people get arrested from that location for soliciting prostitutes. And again, this is probably 2 decades old information that I got from my dad.
Right. So it's been known for 20 years that this was the place to go if you wanted to that kind of stuff, and the place to stay away from if you didn't want to get caught up into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he knowingly went in there because he couldn't help himself. He's a dirty old dog. So.
Okay, so either the Suffolk County Police had the good luck of catching him in this sting, and he had the bad luck of getting caught up in it, or they were looking for him and they were trying to find a way.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of things going on around me, so I got to run. But I wanted to come back to tell you about that because I confirmed it. So
thank you for the inside intel. Okay,
you got it.
We'll reconnect later. Okay,
all right, bye now.
Say bye to Duty Ron. Yeah, okay, so it was a sting. It's been confirmed by Duty Ron's higher up sources that it was a sting. I'm looking right now on the NBC New York website, and they are not posting that yet. So Duty Ron coming in with the intel. Thank you to Tina Lucille, who's on Google. According to the AP, Burke served 40 months in prison and was released in April of 2019. The subsequent 3-year term of supervised release, a form of probation, ended last year. Oh, okay. So is he waiting for that to end before he went back over to Bald Hill to get his business done? Or just has he been more careful since then and just didn't go into public places like this? Hi, guys. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Kim. Yep. Thanks, Aga. It was a sting. We are correct. And Rachela, watching him closely. Yeah, I think so too. I think that when the task force got involved with this, the new task force in 2022, that it was impossible to keep his name out of this, and that they may have had a lot of information from people who rolled over on him in the past. And they were just kind of watching him waiting to see, just like they watched Hierman for over a year before they collared him. And the reason that they did collar him when they did was because he had a burner phone, and they thought that he was reaching out to other escorts and that he may be getting ready to commit another crime. So I think that they arrested him before they actually wanted to, because they were worried what he might do. All right, let's see. Maureen Walsh, maybe Burke had exposed Flash's nether regions in the park before, and it was reported, hence the sting. That could be very possible. It'll be interesting to see how many other people they arrested today in this sting, if anybody, or if he was the only one. Really, really interesting. Yeah. If anybody has access to Google, I know, Tina Lucille, that you do, and you see any video or any indication that there is going to be a press conference at any point today by the Suffolk County DA, I'm assuming they're going to get on top of this or get ahead of this today if they arrested him this morning. Sherry says, good. They've been watching. Darlene would have loved to see him go down. There may be video. They just haven't released it yet. That video that I showed you earlier was old video of him being nabbed by the FBI all those years ago for covering up and assaulting the prisoner, Christopher Loeb. Lady Prudence, wow, thanks for this, Melanie. About time he got his comeuppance. He's still getting his pension, though, guys. Still getting that $145,000 pension, even if he is convicted of murder, according to Duty Ron. This is just crazy. We're going to see if they've got anything else on him, if they had any reason to believe. Rachela, exit 63 off the LIE. It's on Route 83 called Ocean Avenue. That's where this this park is that he was arrested. Apparently it's a Suffolk County park, formerly known as Bald Hill. Kirsten brings into question the Asian dink. It's not dink. The term was actually twink, but yes, in women's clothes buried out near the others near Gilgo. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? If he was in fact caught with a male prostitute, escort, sex worker today, could he be connected to the Asian man? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of breaking news. A lot of stuff's going to come out today. Thanks, you guys, for being here with me. We got 1,000 people in the chat. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that like button. It doesn't cost anything. Nicolo Diaz, Ms. Gilbert said one of the girls told her family her new clients were cops, etc. Yes, and Duty Ron said that too when he came on, that it had been proven that Jimmy Burke used to frequent these, let's just call them sex parties in Oak Beach with residents and SWs. So we knew about it. Yep. Maureen says, I heard it was a male. He exposing himself in the park. Yep. We've just confirmed that with Duty Ron's upper level sources. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Pee Wee Moore, except he did commit the same crime while he was a police officer with Loretta Rickenbacker. You are correct. That was his girlfriend at the time, doing drugs all in his patrol car, and nothing happened to him. Well, actually, he got promoted to chief. Yeah. And you are correct about that. You can Google this. You can Google this woman's name, Loretta Rickenbacker. She's got a long rap sheet, and I believe it was his girlfriend at the time. I don't know if it's still his girlfriend, but yep. It's all in the public records. Not making this stuff up, guys. Not spreading any misinformation. It's out there if you want to find it. Catherine McMartin, we believe there's a snuff film organization involved in all of the murders. Perhaps Rex H. and the chief are involved together. We don't know. We'll find out. I know that there had been some chatter that there was a snuff film found in that duffel bag that was in the back seat of his police-issued vehicle that Christopher Loeb stole out of the back of his vehicle. But I don't have confirmation of that. So I don't know, how they would know that unless they watched it. But Christopher Loeb is all over TikTok, and you can find him, and he's been very vocal recently, him and his girlfriend both. Iris, it's all documented. Yes, she was his girlfriend, was even considered a madam. Yep. Maureen, this is a great day, highlighting Burke back into the spotlight. I hope he's thoroughly reinvested. I got a little pushback in the beginning for bringing him up on another show. I got a little pushback, and I'm going to say again, I 100% back the blue. I have police officers in my family, law enforcement, the organized crime task force. I've got, my dad's best friends were all, this is in my blood. I back the blue 100%. But Burke bungled the Gilgo 4 investigation, and everybody knows it, but everybody was afraid to talk about it. And when I started talking about it, I started getting some pushback, like, you can't bash the cops, you can't say bad things about, and not all cops are bad, but the ones that are need to be, right, like Maureen says, thoroughly reinvestigated. The New York Post has a video. The video that I showed you earlier from News 12, and the video was the old video from when he was initially collared by the FBI for the covering up and the Christopher Loeb incident. I haven't seen any new video yet. I'm going to just refresh my New York Post page to see if anything comes up. If anybody has any actual video from today, I don't see it. And I don't see any indication of a press conference. If anybody's on Twitter and they see anything about a press conference happening today, please put it in the chat. I'm still going to call it Twitter. I know they changed the name to X, but it's going to be Twitter to me. I'm refusing to call it X because I just Twitter is Twitter. How do you change? It's like changing Coke to new Coke. There's nothing wrong with the old Coke. Why did they have to change that? Oh, this is very funny. Scott Briggs, LI started going downhill when Wetsons closed, and also Jolly Rogers. Does anybody remember Wetsons? There was a Wetsons, and I think, was it in Westbury? And then it turned into like a record store or something. And I remember as a little kid going to Wetsons, and we were kind of upset when Wetsons closed. It did have the best French fries, as I recall. Teresa, good cops will bring down the bad ones. Yeah, and you know, I'm so glad that Rodney Harrison is out here in Suffolk County. It just makes me feel safer in a way. I mean, I really think he's the guy who's going to get this done and who's going to, you know, not be influenced by outside sources to get to the truth and to get the conviction. And that's what it was. Yep. Oh, wait. Sorry, Peter Pranzo, NYPD Police Commissioner Ray Kelly used to say, nothing in police work surprises me. Right. And who was it that said that you can indict a ham sandwich in New York? I think that was another NYPD Police Commissioner. Scott says, yeah, Wetson's Levittown turned into Titus Oaks Records, which was great. Yeah, I think we're kind of dating ourselves now, but yes, you are correct. Because when's the last time there was even a record store open? I remember Tower Records when it closed. It was, I mean, that's where we used to go wait online for concert tickets. You can't even, there's no place to even go. There's no Ticketmaster, Ticketron locations anymore where you can go wait online for concert tickets. But I digressed. Kathy, so Burke was charged as corrupt for what he did as a chief, right? Is this new arrest today? PF Burke. Yeah, this is Burke, the former police commissioner who was arrested today for solicitation of a prostitute this morning at 10:15 a.m. at the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park. It's the same guy. He went to jail for the corruption and the covering up and the assault that he did on a suspect or an arrested person, Christopher Loeb, back in 2012. He went to jail for that for 46 months. This is a new arrest from this morning for public lewdness, offering a sex act, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation. Apparently, according to Duty Ron's upper level sources, this was a sting operation. We were wondering if he had been, you know, if he'd been being, if he, since the arrest of Hurman, or if he had been watched since the task force was formed in the beginning of 2022 to investigate the Gilgo murders, because he was the Suffolk County Police Commissioner in charge when the Gilgo 4 were found in 2010. Thank you, Rachela. You're my best Googler. In 1985, Saul Wackler, then the Chief Justice of New York Supreme Court. Yep. Saul Wackler, I remember him well. Any good prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. That's right. That's where that comes from. Saul Wackler. And Lucy Bell says, yep. Saul Wackler. There are interesting stories about Judge Wackler also. Oh my gosh, we can go into such a rabbit hole on this. I don't know what you're saying hasn't been verified, Souffle. Tina Lucille, unfortunately, this may help RH's case. We all know his defense attorneys all over this. Or perhaps Burke is a co-conspirator. Maybe Burke knew some of these women. Maybe Hurman has something on Burke. We don't know. You know, originally when this story first broke within the past hour, I was speculating about whether or not Hurman gave them some information on Burke, which made them go out and collar him. But this apparently was a sting, a prostitution sting. PB&J. I have two new law enforcement crushes on Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison and the jail warden Rex. Well, you know, they are getting some FaceTime. That warden is out there giving interviews. If nobody has seen them, go to Newsday. I think it's newsdaytv.com. Newsday, the newspaper, is behind a paywall, but you can watch the TV portion for free. And there's a reporter, Joy Brown, who's been with Newsday for like 40 years. And she did 3 interviews. She did an interview with Ray Tierney, who's the current Suffolk County District Attorney, which was at least a half an hour long. She did another one with Rodney Harrison. And I don't know if it was Joy who did the interview with the warden. Is he the warden or the sheriff? I'm not sure. But there is another video interview of him. And they're all, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think Rodney Harrison is the best. He's the most well-spoken. And I kind of feel like he should be the face of this investigation, of the Gilgo investigation. And I feel like he's the one who should be speaking out about it more so than the district attorney. But that's just my own personal opinion. You're free to disagree with me, and I'm sure that you will. Just be kind in the chat, please, to each other, to me, and just keep it classy. And thank you to my moderators for being here today. We have over 1,100 people in the chat. So, you know, start hitting that thumbs up button, guys. Like and subscribe. Yep. Yes, Diana, I agree with you. No blind loyalty over here. Trust but verify. We support True Blue. Yeah. And this is what I was talking about last night. I did a show on the Koberger motions hearing from Friday. Trust and verify. You know, you got to make sure you got to dot your I's and you got to cross your T's. Yes, those are great interviews, says Makeup Mobsters. They're on YouTube. Yes. Okay. Don Spain, this is something that I have also brought up. In my opinion, if it is found out that any victims lost their life after Burke started obstructing the investigation, he should be charged as an accessory after the fact. He should be charged with something. I don't know. I haven't looked up the elements of an accessory after the fact charge, but I mean, come on. If they had all of the information on Heuermann in 2010 that was given to them by Dave Schaller, who was the last person to see Amber Costello alive, who was the last of the Gilgo 4 women to go missing. They had Heuermann's physical description in 2010, and it was buried in the file. And all they had to do, like I said earlier, was a simple DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, cross-check between men in a certain radius that were between 6'2" to 6'4", and green Chevy Avalanches. And that car was registered in his name, and it would have, in my opinion, and I'm not law enforcement, I'm just a lawyer, in my opinion, they would have been able to find him. So if he went on to kill more people since 2010, in the past 13 years, that's a major problem. That's a major problem for Suffolk County and for Burke. And yeah, he still is collecting his pension. Oh, thank you, Andros. I want to say Melody Smart Intelligent. Oh, thank you so much. I ran in from outside and I got that alert, and I really didn't have time to, get my hair and makeup people in here. But thank you for that. And James Burke may go to hell for neglecting that case from the beginning. Yeah. Yep. And it's been, I'm sure a lot of you in the chat have a lot more information on serial killers than I do and are much more well-versed in what serial killers do. But it is rare that a serial killer will start killing at age 46. And it's also rare that they just stop cold turkey, right? So now they're looking into Heuermann for Las Vegas. They've said he's not involved in Atlantic City, but I did a whole show, if you want to go back and watch it, on the Atlantic City 4. And there's a lot of commonalities there. I don't know how they can just say that he's not involved in that one. There's also a lot of other unsolved serial killings in other states. In Massachusetts, you got the New Bedford Highway killer. They're everywhere. So we'll see what happens. But Amanda says this case just keeps getting more insane. A lot more information will still come up as the investigation continues. Yeah. Oh, Duty Ron's not here anymore, but how does that affect the potential jury pool? I have problems with this Showtime drama. He and Tierney are both contaminating it. I don't know what you mean. How does what affect the potential jury pool? Them giving interviews to Newsday? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't know if it's going to contaminate the jury pool. I mean, I've got a lot more issues in other places with the jury pool being contaminated. Everybody here in Suffolk County wants the right guy convicted for this, and they want to be involved in this. They want to be in the jury pool. I don't even think I don't even think that there's going to be a change of venue in the Gilgo case. I think Heuermann is going to get his right here in Suffolk County, and innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying he's the guy, but you know, when you put together the forensic evidence that we have so far, and also the hairs, you know, you've got the digital forensics and you've got the physical forensics. So, I mean, when you look at the totality of the evidence that we know about so far, that was in the original probable cause affidavit, it's not looking so great for him with the triangulation of his personal phone, his burner phones, and the victim's phones all in the same place at the same time. It's interesting. Okay. AC says Heuermann is also a gay man. He was caught coming out of the woods in Brady Park. Yeah. Gay cruising area. Okay. Is it? I did not know that about Brady Park by a woman who he scared as he appeared as he came out. I'm surprised no one discusses this ever. Well, we can discuss it now if you like, because I'm here for you. But yes, he did come out of the woods in Brady Park and he startled a woman who was on her bike. And I think I saw this in the New York Post, and I think it was right before his arrest. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And he was dirty as if he had been like rolling around in the dirt. And he scared her so badly and freaked her out with his weird conversations that I think she did she call 911, or she called her sister to come and pick her up, and she had her bike with her. So yeah, she was freaked out by him. And, you know, I don't have any confirmation that he's a gay man, but it seems that today he was caught with a male prostitute, sex worker, escort, whatever word you'd like to use, with his pants down. And it may be true. He may be bisexual. I don't want to label him. He may be, I don't know what he is. He may be a serial killer, but, you know, again, innocent until proven guilty. Duty Ron. 7/3/23. I don't know what that date is. Does anybody know what he's referring to? I don't know what that date is. Maureen, there must be some connection between Burke and some, if not all, of the victims. Somehow he didn't want the FBI to interview the victims, or the coworkers due to his double life being exposed. Right. What if these were escorts that he knew, that he had received services from, that he had paid for services, that he had communications with on his own personal cell phone or his police-issued cell phone, because he didn't seem too concerned about the duffel bag of goodies that was found in the backseat of his police-issued vehicle. Rock and roll up. The case should stay right where it is. These people need this. Absolutely. Absolutely, they do. Anybody has any more information on Brady Park? That's an interesting little tidbit. He interfered with, let's see, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Scott says, I drove past that park a few times recently, but I wasn't about to go in. Lucy Bell, Burke is a predator. I think that his sexual orientation is sadistic and predatory. Seems that way, folks. Seems that way. Oh, here's an interesting thought. Will Burke and RH be in the same jail? Well, yeah. They're both going to be held in the Suffolk County Correctional Facility right out there in Riverhead next to the criminal court. I believe so. So you tell me, Duty Ron, if you think that he's going out to Suffolk County Correctional Facility right there in Riverhead. I'm pretty sure that that's where they're going to take him. Well, the good part is now they can move them both at the same time, because when they're moving Heuermann around, they have to stop everything else that's going on in the jail to do their movements. And now they can just now they can stop for both of them and move them both. Am I doing videos every day? No, I have not been doing videos every day, but today this was breaking news, and I called Duty on, and I'm like, dude, we got to go on. And he's like, I'm at work, I can't. And I'm like, well, I'm going. And he's like, okay. And then he called in. Actually, Police Off the Cuff was live right as this was breaking, and people were trying to tell Bill in the chat, but I guess he didn't know or he didn't see it. So I waited until after he was done to come on with this. So I don't have a set schedule of when I do videos, but I did a catch-up video yesterday for all the cases we were covering from last week, and then doing this right now because this is a breaking story and we are here for it. We are here for it. Yeah, Roger says, I've never heard of Brady Park being a gay area. Yeah, well, or a gay cruising area, really. Why would you, right? Unless you were involved in, unless you were in the know or in the community or wanted to have that information for some reason. Maybe it's not totally public. Oh, okay. 7/3/23 was the day that he came out of the bushes, right, at Brady Park and scared that female bike rider. Anybody have any information from Twitter about whether there's going to be a press conference today? Because Brady Park for Brady violations, says Iris. Let's see, what does that have to say? Tracy Nicole, this could explain his hatred for women. It might. It might. We've been trying to get into his head to find out why, what caused him to, if he's guilty, cause innocent until proven guilty. These seem like very personal crimes. We don't know, but Asa could be assisting law enforcement. We don't know. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, okay, Hudson, I agree. Being caught in a public cruising area does not make one gay or pansexual. It lets people identify themselves in that regard. Some killers are equal opportunity. Well, he was caught with a male prostitute today, so we don't know if he's gay or bisexual but if he was caught in the act today with another man, we can make some sort of educated guesses, right? Darlene, he's got to be involved in other states. It wouldn't surprise me. No, it wouldn't surprise me either. In fact, he's got ties to a lot of different states. He lived in New Jersey with his first wife. He is a known gambler. On one of my live shows, I did a town hall where I let people call in who had questions or comments. And a woman called in who was a dealer at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. She was a high stakes blackjack dealer. And 20 years ago, she dealt blackjack to Rex Heuermann for 8 hours straight. And she never forgot it. And he sat at her table and taunted her for 8 hours. You can go back and watch that live that I did. I think it was a week or two ago. And it says in the description that, we talked to a blackjack dealer from Mohegan Sun. She never forgot it because for 8 hours, he sat there and said things to her like, while you're here at work, your husband is at home and he's bringing other women into your house and they're touching your stuff. And for 20 years, she has not forgotten how creepy Rex Heuermann was. That blackjack dealer, Hudson says, was a great witness, and that story was very compelling. Yes, and very credible. Caroline Ciano, could Rex be a source for assembling the sting? I don't know. I did speculate on that earlier today. Lucy Bell, she was a great speaker on that. Definitely worth rewatching this segment with the blackjack dealer. Yep. That is also the episode where Oblivious Benson came into my life. She is my own personal Penelope Garcia. That's a Criminal Minds reference. And she is into open source intelligence, OSINT. And she taught us a lot about, these old message boards that can still be accessed on the internet using Wayback Machine, where they were sort of like, and this is a terrible thing, not a great description, but it was like Yelp for hookers and Yelp for Johns, where the Johns and the hookers escorts would go on and rate each other and talk about each other. And they're still accessible. And in fact, Kat has found things that we've seen on these message boards that people knew about Amber Costello's ruse, and they were talking about it on there. And it was kind of known, and they would dox these women and men. So they would dox them and say, here's this person's phone number. Do not hire this person. Here's this John's phone number. Do not go with him because XYZ. And all of that information is still out there. You can still access it. And we hope that law enforcement is accessing it. Rita, thank you. That was Melanie's best episode, Benson, with the blackjack dealer. You know what? And that was just a happy accident. I just said, is there anybody who wants to call in? I'll give you the link. You can come in if you have anything you want to talk about, any questions. And it was a happy accident that they both called in. That was not planned. Iris says, I can see why others in the same line of work as the victims were scared to speak up. Suffolk County was sadly corrupt. Yes. But now with the new task force, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office is now questioning SWs that are currently incarcerated to get information to see if, now that Rex is locked up, if they had any interactions with him, if there's any information that they can glean from these witnesses. So they're really doing a deep dive and digging into, what these women may know. Hudson, one of my exes is a SW, cam and high-end escort, as well as a professor with an MPH. And SWs still do have those systems of references to stay safe. Yep. The incarcerated SWs will be integral to this case. Yes, I agree with you. And they also have safety protocols. And one of the reasons that, Amber Costello kind of violated her own protocols that night and left her phone behind. And sadly, that may be, why she was killed. And very, very, very sad. Lily is confused. What is this sting they are talking about? Okay, if you are one of the 1,187 people that are watching right now, first of all, go hit the like button. Second of all, hit the subscribe button. And third of all, I'm going to say this again. This morning, former Suffolk County Police Commissioner James Burke, who was the police commissioner at the time that the Gilgo 4 bodies were found in 2010, who is the reason that, in my opinion only, Hurman was not found, arrested, indicted in 2010 because they had a description of him. He was arrested this morning. He spent 46 months in prison for another reason, but he was arrested this morning at the Suffolk County Veterans Memorial Park, Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park, for in a sting operation for offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation. He was caught with a male SW, and there are additional charges pending. If anybody, again, is on Twitter and sees anything about a press conference happening today. Yes, Lucy, no, I did not mean to, to say that Amber was killed because of anything she did or did not do. 100%. No. What I'm saying is, yes, that these review sites do still exist, and that people who work in this industry do have safety protocols, and that it was very, very terrible. And you know what? You're right. I mean, even if she did have her phone with her, it doesn't mean anything, because two of the women that were part of the Gilgo 4 had their phones with them. And Rex, if he's the guy, because innocent until proven guilty, had their cell phones and made taunting calls to their families after the fact, and also called their voicemail from their cell phones after the fact. Okay, and Agnostic One, why have they not checked the Club Blue Sapphire on the west side where he used to hang out and date the strippers? I don't know. That's news to me. Maybe they have, and we just don't know anything yet. Yeah, Kirsten, it may take Suffolk County and other locations years to dig through all this mess. Yep. Yes, and AC, you and I have a lot of the same thoughts. Rex could have been stashing bodies in Brady Park. Surprised no one looked into that either. A woman says he came out of the woods all dirty and so might have been digging. Yes, I thought that too, and I think that after they did, I'm going to assume that they did go look into Brady Park and that they did search it. If anybody knows whether or not for a fact, if you live near there and you saw any law enforcement out there with dogs or anything, yeah, he may have been visiting his bodies. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation that if he's the guy, that the Gilgo Four were placed in such a way and posed on Ocean Parkway that that he put them there specifically so that he could visit them and drive by Ocean Parkway and sort of visit the scene. Somebody says they just took a video walking up to Memorial Park. Rachela, send it to me on Messenger. And I'll see if I can get it up on the screen. Awesome. Are you guys are out in the car going up to the memorial? Is there any police activity going on there still? Mercy 81. Regarding the abuse of Benson blackjack dealer. Well, Benson and the blackjack dealer are two different people, but could this be how he abused tormented wife by discrediting any beliefs? Yeah. I mean, and wearing her down. Yes. We have speculated too. And I did another episode with a therapist, Meredith Beardmore, and we have speculated that Rex may have been abusive, may have been controlling, may have been that there was definitely some sort of control going on there, tormented. Yeah, call it whatever you want. But there may have been definitely some issues in that relationship. All right, let's see. Duty Ron is sending me something. Okay, he's got a video for us. Thank you, Duty Ron. Let's go here. Give me 1 second to pull this up. Oh, he texted it to me, so I gotta go somewhere else. All this breaking news. Okay, I see this wrong, but this looks like it was. Oh, here we go. Hang on.
Breaking news, former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke is back in jail after a park ranger sting in Suffolk County. Law enforcement sources tell News 4 he was arrested today at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial on County Road 83. He's accused of soliciting a male prostitute and exposing himself. He was released from federal prison back in 2018 after serving time to beating a handcuffed man who stole a duffel bag from his vehicle and then tried to cover up the assault.
So there you have it. They're calling it a prostitution sting. And now we have some video from Rachela Pranzo, hang on, who just took a walk over to the place where he was arrested. I love you guys helping me out here. All right, let's get to this tab. Okay, let's play this. Not blocked off. Can you guys hear her? Can you get me my power cord? It's over there. On my left. Okay, so that was the first video, and then Rachela sent a second video. I don't know how to get the sound to come on for this specific tab, so we're just going to watch it without the sound. Or actually, I'll just repeat what Rachela is saying. Pete says we're in the parking lot of the Vietnam Memorial Park, and everything is open. It's a very small parking lot. And he's going to see if he can take a walk up. And so I guess that second video was them taking a walk up. So let's just watch that one again. We're heading up to the memorial right now. Like Pete says, it doesn't seem to be blocked off or anything. Yes, this is where the commissioner got caught. It's a little sunny. She can't see too well. Very peaceful. And there's the memorial. It's very beautiful, Pete says, and he's right. So this is where former Suffolk County Police Commissioner Jimmy Burke was arrested this morning in the act with a male prostitute. Pants down. And I got boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, Rachela and Pete Pranzo. Huge shout out for running over to the Suffolk County Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park to show us exactly where Jimmy Burke was arrested this morning. And yeah, no police activity happening. The arrest was in the parking lot, says Duty Ron. So Pete and Rachela, you guys, I guess, were just there. You guys are boots on the ground, and there was no police activity in the parking lot. Does anybody have any information yet on a press conference? It's hard to man Twitter and exhibits. Thank you so much, Dark Arts by Adrian, for these $5 super chat. Thanks so much for the live. Please hit the like button, everyone. Hey, Robbie, thanks for the super chat. I've been wondering where you are. I haven't not seen you in the chat lately, Robbie. So I'm glad you were a little MIA. Hello, all you wonderful friends. Hello, Robbie in Australia. Kirsten, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate you. And Roger, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Fascinating show. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you guys for supporting, because without you guys, we don't have a show. And Duty Ron came on earlier with just audio because he is at his day job, sadly, and he could not come on with video, but we plan on going live later because hopefully we are going to find out a lot more about this arrest of James Burke, the former Suffolk County Police Commissioner, ex-con, who is still receiving, by the way, his $145,000 a year police pension, because apparently even if you commit murder, you're still going to get your pension in Suffolk County. I don't know if that's a statewide rule or if that is a county thing. I know, Duty Ron, you talked about it earlier, but you know, my mind was in 100 different places, and you might have actually said, but crazy. Burke was letting it all hang out. Yeah, was. Kirsten still can't find an announcement of a presser yet. Maybe will be a segment on the 5 o'clock news. I don't know. Wait, it's on their website on News 12. He says, hold on a second. We got it. Yay, Scott coming in with the info. Watch live. Is it on live right now? Local. Is it on right now? News 12 has the presser on the website, on the News 12 website. I'm on the website. It's not coming up. I mean, I see the breaking news. Oh, here it is. We got it, you guys. Oh my God. Thank you, Scott. We got it. It's coming on. It's coming at you right now. Let's just get this on here. We're going to all get to watch this together. I love when this happens. And here we go.
I'm here with Steve Layton, as well as some of the men from the Suffolk County Parks Police. Due to numerous complaints about activity over at Vietnam Memorial in Farmingville, members assigned to the Suffolk County Park Rangers Targeted Response Unit conducted an operation utilizing plainclothes rangers. At 10:15 a.m. today, during this operation, they engaged one individual who was soliciting for sexual engagement. Due to the actions that I am not going to share, this individual was placed under arrest. The Rangers ascertained that our perpetrator involved was identified as James Burke, former chief of the Suffolk County Police Department. He was transported to the 6th Precinct by Park Rangers for processing. He's being charged with offering a sex act, indecent exposure, public lewdness, and criminal solicitation, 5th degree. Additional charges may be pending. And we are still currently trying to ascertain if he's still on federal probation. I open up the floor for any questions at this time.
follow up.
It was just
Question, was it a female that he was caught with or a male?
male plainclothes officers at the during the operation.
When you say numerous complaints about the activity, can you expand on that a little bit further?
Sure.
When you say numerous complaints about the activity of the location, can you explain that further?
I'll have Steve Layton talk about the complaints that we received over there. Steve?
We have our targeted response unit within the Rangers that we get to problematic areas within the county park system, graffiti, vandalism, quality of life issues, theft. And the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is one of those areas that we've received numerous complaints about quality of life issues up there. So we're attempting to do our best to curtail that.
And were there complaints of people soliciting sex?
That's correct. Yeah.
And was one of the, are those complaints about people soliciting sex workers?
Okay. How long had the plainclothes officers been out there before the arrest took place?
How long had the plainclothes officers been out there?
They were only out there a few minutes, to be honest with you. They had just arrived at the location.
Did your guys recognize him, and what was their, did you describe the reaction and seeing him?
Did you guys recognize him, and could you describe his reaction?
The ranger who made the arrest, Mr. Burke, did not know who he was.
I mean, did the ranger know who Mr. Burke was?
No,
Did the ranger know who Mr. Burke was?
not at first, not until he identified himself and said who he was. Do you know who I am?
He identified himself and said, "Do you know who I am?" Wow. Do you know who I am? As in, like, you're not going to arrest me, right? Professional courtesy. What?
So he said that to the ranger at
Yes.
one point?
Yeah.
Was he
So he said that to the ranger at some point, and then he says yes.
attempting to get out of being arrested?
Was he attempting to get out of the arrest?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Wow, I'm just watching this for the first time with you guys, and I could have scripted this myself. He was trying to get out of the arrest.
Describe that?
Well, he was expressing to us how this would, be a public humiliation for him and such. So.
A public humiliation for him.
How did the arrest come to be? Did he proposition the plainclothes officer? Did the officer see something? What prompted the arrest?
How did the arrest come to be? Did he solicit the undercover officer? Did the undercover officer see something?
I'm not going to get into the details of that. Mr. Burke is still being processed by the detectives inside.
Was anyone else arrested?
Was anyone else arrested?
And that was execution.
Due to it happening so fast, as soon as the plainclothes rangers got there this morning, that was the only apprehension they had made this morning at the memorial.
Are you going to go back?
We've been there several times.
We're going to take one more question.
We've heard a lot of rumors going on around this case that there may have been drugs taken from the former chief, that there was maybe a minor involved. Can you address some of those?
Yeah, so
We've heard a lot of rumors about this, that there may have been drugs on the former police chief.
I'm not going to talk about the little details that are circulating regarding rumors and what was he carrying and what was in his possession. I shared the charges with you regarding what he's being charged with. If you have any further questions, we could have our PIO get in contact with you, but that's where we stand at this time regarding the charges to Jim Burke.
Commissioner, you said you reached out to the federal agencies to see if he's still under parole.
We did.
You said that you reached out to the federal agencies to see if he's still on parole,
You haven't heard back.
We're waiting for
but you haven't heard back.
a response from them.
I know this all predates your time here, but do you have any reaction to?
I do not.
I know this all predates your time here, but do you have any reaction to, and then you kind of cut him off.
I do not. No comment at this time.
Thank you, everybody. Today.
Thank you,
And here was-
everyone. Wow. So There you go. Thank you, Scott, for telling us that this was on right now during our show, and we got to watch it pretty much live. I hope you didn't mind me stopping it to repeat the questions to you, but I like to do that because it gives us a little bit better context into what they were talking about, because it is so hard to hear the reporters' questions because they don't have microphones and they're sort of like shouting the questions. And yeah, I hope this is just the tip with Burke, no pun intended. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be other charges. I mean, Rodney Harrison, who somebody just said they had a crush on earlier in the chat, he seemed like there were some other charges coming. I don't know where they got this information that he may have had drugs on him, but Hudson, public humiliation went out the window about 10 years ago. So can you believe that? Can you believe that he pulled out the "do you know who I am" card as if that was gonna garner him some kind of favor from the park rangers and or the Suffolk County Police Department that he disgraced? Yeah, Cammie. Hi, Cammie. I guess it was worth a try. Disgusting human. Yeah. Unbelievable. I guess they say that they had been receiving complaints from people in the area about quality of life issues surrounding the park. And that's why they made the plainclothes detectives go there this morning. And within minutes of their arrival, they arrested Jimmy Burke. And he was the only one arrested this morning in this sting operation. He was the only one arrested. So were they targeting him? Were they following him? A lot more is going to come out, and we may not find out. We may not know because they do like to hold things close to the vest. Thank you, Di Marsh, for the $9.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you for coming here and watching. And thank you, Kirsten, for the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. If I did not already thank you. And Roger, I think I already did, but it's hard to say because these things sort of like just stay in here. But I want to make sure that I thank everyone. Thank you all for watching. Please, while you're here, hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything. And yeah, Scott. Sure, Chief. Let me show you courtesy. These cuffs are brand new. Try them on. Wow. Andre says, Andras, I could identify that man, and I'm from Switzerland. Hello, Switzerland. Switzerland is beautiful. But yeah, did the park ranger not also, realize that he looks a lot different now than he did back when he was originally the police commissioner in 2010. Let's see if we can go back to that recent video that we were looking at earlier. That I think it was it the Daily Mail that had been sort of following him around? Yes, here it is. Okay, so here's some recent video of James Burke. And first, let's look at the we had his police headshot. Okay, so here is his police headshot of what he looked like in 2010. And yeah, you may be right that you'd be able to identify him now, but this is what he looked like around 2010. This is his official Suffolk County police headshot. And now we're going to take a look at the Daily Mail. And I love the Daily Mail because they get the goods. They go and they find people like him. And this is video that was taken in July. And I don't know why they were following him, but they did. And this is so this is what he looks like now. And there's not really any audio with it, but I don't know if I'd recognize him in a two-man lineup, if you know what I mean. Just going to let this play for a minute because he'll come back on screen. Yeah, Stella says he looks sickly. Well, he spent 46 months in prison, but maybe drugs. It's interesting. Why was the Daily Mail following him? I mean, call me crazy, but that's a far cry from what he looked like in his 2010 headshot. I don't know if I would recognize him. What do you guys think? He's a lot thinner with a beard. Yeah. Somebody thinks he's a junkie with not a great health plan. Yeah. So, I don't know. They said that the park ranger or the detective who arrested him did not know who he was. And that was a question that Rodney Harrison asked at the press conference or answered. I think he's in a whole lot of trouble, says Marilyn. Yep. I agree, Stella. He looks like a different person. Yeah. But I mean, can you believe the gall on him? Do you know who I am? Asking for a professional courtesy to the arresting detective? I mean, what is this guy thinking? Roger, no way Burke arrest is by chance. Yeah, I got it. I'm just a lawyer. I'm not in law enforcement, but my spidey senses are going up too. And that's what I'm thinking. Guys who are in the chat, Peter Pranzo, Scott, my law enforcement. I don't think Duty Ron is here right now, but what do you guys think based on this press conference that we just saw where it was a sting? But yeah, he was the only one arrested, and he was arrested within minutes of the detectives arriving. Do you think they've had their eye on him? Do you think this was a coincidence? TMZ has a tweet with a headshot from this morning allegedly shot through a window. Interesting. Anybody has that tweet? Send it to me. We'll put it up. Yeah, narcissism is just, I mean, this is huge breaking news for those of us who live here on Long Island. I mean, we have been angry, I guess, is putting it mildly, at this guy for, I don't know, 13 years. And his conviction and his prison term and what he went to jail for, covering up that assault of Christopher Loeb. In our minds, there was a lot more going on with him, and that just wasn't enough. And if Rex Heuermann has killed people since 2010 when he could have been found pretty much back then, we're really going to get our backs up. Scott, PD isn't going to say if he was targeted, it's illegal to do that, so it's an operation. Okay, gotcha. And that's why I have you guys here, because I can say things like that, but you guys can't. So yes, he deserves the public humiliation. Could you imagine that's what he told the detective? Don't you know who I am? If you arrest me, this is going to cause me public humiliation. Somebody said, you think they were trailing him? Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Kind of like how Koberger got pulled over twice on his cross-country trip. We kind of thought that was a setup too, because they wanted to get a look at him or see what was in his car. Diana Cusimano Valentine, once is a happenstance, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Did Mr. Burke get a discount from the escort? Well, we don't know. We don't know what happened this morning. He was also accused, or he's been arrested for offering a sex act. So what's that about? He's offering it. He wasn't asking for it. He was offering it, plus public lewdness, plus indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation with additional potential charges pending. That could be what the drugs were all about. Let me know if you guys want to watch this press conference again, because I'm happy to play it again because I didn't get enough of it. I could watch it 5 times in a row. If you're just tuning in, you might have missed the press conference, and we can put it back on. Just let me know. Rodney Harrison has my vote. I don't think that's an elected position, police commissioner. Richie Gross says, please, yes, please. Okay, here we go. We're going to watch the press conference again. If you are just tuning in, breaking news, former Suffolk County Police Commissioner James Burke, aka Jimmy Burke, who also spent 46 months in prison for an unrelated charge, who was the Suffolk County Police Commissioner during the 2010 time when the Gilgo 4 were found. He's also the police commissioner who did not want the FBI involved in the Gilgo investigation or any other police departments involved in the investigation. He was arrested this morning in Suffolk County at a park, apparently that is known for lewd acts and SWs and places where people go to solicit SWs or take SWs to do acts. And he was arrested this morning for those charges that I already told you about. And now, once again, we are going to watch the press conference that just happened a couple minutes ago with Rodney Harrison, the current Suffolk County Police Commissioner. I'm going to, again, stop and tell you the questions because the questions are very hard to hear and the responses are important.
Steve Layton, as well as some of the men from the Suffolk County Parks Police, due to numerous complaints about activity over at Vietnam Memorial in Farmingville. Members assigned to the Suffolk County Park Rangers Targeted Response Unit conducted an operation utilizing plainclothes rangers. At 10:15 a.m. today, during this operation, they engaged one individual who was soliciting for sexual engagement. Due to the actions that I am not going to share, this individual was placed under arrest. The Rangers ascertained that our perpetrator involved was identified as James Burke, former chief of the Suffolk County Police Department. He was transported to the 6th Precinct by Park Rangers for processing. He's being charged with offering a sex act, indecent exposure, public lewdness, and criminal solicitation, 5th degree. Additional charges may be pending. And we are still currently trying to ascertain if he's still on federal probation. I open up the floor for any questions at this time.
Was it a female officers, male?
Was it female officers, plainclothes there?
No.
It was just male plainclothes officers at the during the operation.
When you say numerous complaints about the activity, can you expand on that a little bit further?
Sure.
When you say numerous complaints about the activity, can you expand on that a little bit further?
I'll have Steve Layton talk about the complaints that we received over there. Steve?
We have our targeted response unit within the Rangers that we get to problematic areas within the county park system, graffiti, vandalism, quality of life issues, theft. And the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is one of those areas that we've received numerous complaints about quality of life issues up there. So we're attempting to do our best to curtail that.
And were there complaints of people soliciting sex?
That's correct.
And what was it? Was he soliciting sex?
Yeah.
Okay. How long had the plainclothes officers been out there before the arrest took place?
How long had the plainclothes officers been out there before they arrested him?
They were only out there a few minutes, to be honest with you. They had just arrived at the location.
Did your guys recognize him, and what was their? Did you describe the reaction at seeing him?
Did the plainclothes guys recognize him, and could you describe their reaction or at seeing him?
The ranger who made the arrest Mr. Burke did not know who he was.
I mean, did the ranger know who Mr. Burke was?
No,
Did the ranger know who Mr. Burke was?
not at first, not until he identified himself and said who he was. Do you know who I am?
So he said that to the ranger?
Yes.
So he said that to the rangers.
Yeah.
Was he attempting to get out of being arrested?
Was he attempting to get out of the arrest?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Could you describe that?
Well,
Could you describe that?
he was expressing to us how this would, be a public humiliation for him and such. So.
How did the arrest come to be? Did he proposition the plainclothes officer? Did the officer see something? What
How did the arrest come to be? Did he solicit the plainclothes officer? Did the plainclothes officer say something or see something?
prompted the arrest?
I'm not going to get into the details of that. Mr. Burke is still being processed by the detectives inside.
Was anyone else arrested?
Was anyone else
some of the men
arrested?
from the-
Oh, shoot. Hold on. Go back here.
Officer, did the officer see something? What prompted the arrest?
I'm not going to get into the details of that. Mr. Burke is still being processed by the detectives inside.
Was anyone else arrested?
Was anyone else arrested?
Due to it happening so fast, as soon as the plainclothes rangers got there this morning, that was the only apprehension they had made this morning at the memorial.
Are you going to go back?
We've been there several times.
We're going to take one more question.
We've heard a lot of rumors going on around this case that there may have been drugs taken from the former chief.
We've heard a lot of rumors around this case. There may have been drugs taken from Burke.
That there was maybe a minor involved. Can you address some of those?
Yes.
That there was maybe, it sounded like you said a lighter involved when you arrested him. Oh, maybe he was smoking crack.
We're not going to talk about the little details that are circulating regarding rumors and what was he carrying and what was in his possession. I shared the charges with you regarding what he's being charged with. If you have any further questions, we could have our PIO get in contact with you, but that's where we stand at this time regarding the charges to Jim Burke.
You said you reached out to the federal agencies to see if he's still under.
I think that's Greg Sergel who is saying, you say you've reached out to the federal agencies to see if he's still on parole?
We did.
You haven't heard back.
We're waiting for a response from them.
I know this all predates your time here, but do you have any reaction to?
I do not.
I know this all predates your time here, but do you have any reaction to?
I do not. No comment at this time.
Thank you, everybody. Today.
I'm here with Steve
Okay,
Layton.
so there you have it. That was breaking news. The press conference regarding the arrest of former Suffolk County Police Commissioner James, aka Jimmy Burke. There was an interesting comment here. Scott says desk appearance ticket, goes to court at a later date. They did say they took him right to the 6th precinct for processing. I don't know. You think they're going to let him out on bail, Scott? What do you think is going to happen? Brooklyn Bezola, smoking meth or crack, possibly. We do know from our deep dive into his relationship with that woman we mentioned earlier that there had been some crack smoking in his past. Mountain Cat says, okay, so he was just out there at a war memorial with his pants like a display window. Got it. Yeah, well, Duty Ron came on earlier. He's sadly at his day job, and so he can only come on by audio, but he told us that this is a famous location for people who want to solicit SWs or who want to have a place to go to do their acts with SWs. It seems that he was caught with a male SW, and that the one of the officers at this press conference said that they had received several quality of life complaints, and I'm going to guess that's what they mean when they say quality of life complaints, that this was a place that SWs were hanging out that Johns knew to go. And that could be the quality of life complaints that they are talking about. Also, perhaps it was a place that people would go to do drugs or other nefarious things. As MTV right about Burke not being married and no children. I do not have any information on that, but I do not think that he's currently married. I do not know if he has any children. If anybody's got the Google and they can Google that for me, that would be great, because we want to say only accurate things. Duty Ron says no parole. He was off parole. Okay, so he knew he was off parole and he felt free to get out there in the public, in public spaces and public parks at 10:15 a.m., by the way, with his hired worker that he was offering a sex act to. Holy crap. You just can't even make this up. You just can't even make this up. Ali06, Rex purchased a camera from my job in 2010. I wonder if he took pictures of his victims. Quite possible. We know that a lot of SKs do that. We still don't know what they found at Hierman's house, by the way. We still haven't seen an inventory on that. We still don't know if they found any trophies. We still don't know. Okay, MTV TV. Okay, so I didn't see your first message, but you did Google it. Okay, so you're saying he's unmarried with no children, and he's also the caregiver for his mom who has lung cancer. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Diana, again, so how does this someone justify concern about public humiliation, also put himself in the exact position of public humiliation involving alleged drugs and soliciting sex? Yeah. I don't know. Burke was the chief. So he was the Suffolk County chief of the police, not the police commissioner. Did I misspeak on that? Maybe. Maureen says it is something in the water. Yep. How could he be a cop for such a long time? Listen, he had friends in high places. His buddy was Tom Smoda. We got into this earlier, but I'm going to repeat it again because there's a lot of people I think here who were not here in the beginning of this live stream when this news of his arrest broke. But James Burke, who was arrested today, who is the former Suffolk County police chief or police commissioner, I'm not sure, got to his station in life to that position because he was, as a 14-year-old, a witness in I believe it was a murder case. It was a criminal case that was being tried by Tom Smoda, who eventually became the Suffolk County district attorney. Little Jimmy Burke, was the star witness in that case. They became fast friends, Tom Smoda and Jimmy Burke. So as Jimmy Burke got older, and I think he went to the police academy, Tom Smoda, to thank him for being a star witness in a case that he received a conviction on, hired him to become I believe, an investigator for the Suffolk County Police Department. Police chief. Thank you, Peter. Okay, so he was the chief of police of Suffolk County. Okay. I'm getting confused with him and Rodney Harrison because Rodney Harrison is the police commissioner, right? Or is Rodney Harrison also the police chief? That's why I need my law enforcement guys to correct me. In any event, Jimmy Burke and Tom Smoda became fast friends and good buddies. And Tom Smoda pulled Jimmy Burke up through the ranks from investigator to police to chief of police. And in return, Jimmy Burke got the Suffolk County Police Department behind Tom Smoda when Tom Smoda wanted to run for district attorney. And eventually he got up to be the district attorney. And then when Burke was finally convicted of covering up the assault of Christopher Loeb that happened in 2012, he was convicted and sent to prison. And then Tom Spota was convicted and sent to prison as well. And Tom Spota is currently still in prison for that. So that's how all of this stuff happened. And that's how, when in 2010, the Suffolk County Police Department had the physical and vehicle description of Rex Kierman, it was never investigated any further because of Jimmy Burke's involvement with the sex trade and drugs and porn and things like that. He didn't want the FBI coming in and taking a look at him. And karma's a bitch. Karma is a bitch, folks. Today. Thank you, Peter. So Rodney Harrison is the Suffolk County Police Commissioner, and Burke was the Suffolk County Police Chief of Police. Okay, PB&J, I am not on Twitter, but let me go to TMZ's website and see if we can find that booking photo of Burke being arrested. Thank you for pointing me in the right direction. And let's see if we have that. If it's up on the TMZ website, or are you saying it's on Twitter? Hold on, let's go to Twitter. Oh, well, I'm glad that it redirects. Twitter redirects to X when you type it in, so that's good. Not seeing it in the immediate feed. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I'm seeing a story photo. I'm not seeing a booking photo. Is it on TMZ's Twitter? PB&J? Let's try one more thing. I know duty Ron, I need to have like 2 devices set up. And I do. I have a second screen here, but it's like a TV screen. So I have to oh, here it is. All right. The Daily Mail has it. Nope, that's not the one. All of the booking photos that I'm seeing are from his old arrest. I'm not seeing anything from today. Hold on a second. Okay, that was the... Oh, okay, that's something else. All right, guys, I can't find the current booking photo today. If somebody else has it. Yep, got to watch the replay because there was a lot that happened today. This story broke. I came on live, and while I was on live, the press conference happened. We got more information on the charges. We got Duty Ron to get some information from higher ups before the press conference that this was a sting operation. We learned during the press conference that he was the only one arrested during the sting operation, that he tried to get out of it by saying to the arresting detectives, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? I'm Jimmy Burke. I used to be the former Suffolk County Police Chief," as if that was going to help him get out of it. And then said, "If you arrest me, this is going to cause me a lot of public humiliation." Okay. Public humiliation. That's, I think that went out the window when he was arrested and spent all that time in prison. TMZ. Okay. It's on the TMZ website? On the website. Let me see if I can find it. All these pop-ups and stuff on some of these websites just make it so hard to search, but we're gonna find it for you. I mean, the article is coming up. Here it is. I found it. Thank you. All right. You guys are the best. My armchair detectives getting it done. Getting it done. Let's look at it together. And it says, just as all eyes are on his former law enforcement fiefdom and the serial killer case he botched, one-time Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke got himself arrested this morning. Thank you to Gus Garcia Roberts for posting this. Charges are unrelated to Gilgo Beach. Initial report from Newsday is drugs. No, it's not. It's actual solicitation, public lewdness. And there it is. There's the picture of him getting booked. Wow. Pete and Rachela, I can't believe you didn't go down to the 6th precinct to get this picture for me. That, it was so nice of you to go down to the scene of the crime. And thank you guys for doing that. That was pretty amazing. If you're just tuning in, we also had Pete and Rachela Pranzo go down to the actual scene of the crime and do some video for us of where he was actually arrested for solicitation, public lewdness, and other assorted fantastic charges. And there he is. There he is getting booked at the 6th precinct. Thoughts, concerns? I mean, you just can't make this up. 10:15 in the morning, and this guy's out there with his pants down, gets arrested by the park police. Between this and Lisk, even Hollywood couldn't make this up. Yeah. And it begs the question, do they know something? Are they trying to get him in there because they have some information on him? And is this going to connect to the Lisk case at all? He was just out there trying to crack down on crime. Yes. And we think maybe he was smoking crack because one of the reporters did say, we hear there was a lighter involved and maybe some drugs involved. And Rodney Harrison shut it down, but quick, and said, we're not going to comment on any of that right now. We're just not going to comment on that. We did play the press conference twice. So if anyone hasn't seen it, just rewind on the feed here and you will see it twice. I even stopped the press conference to repeat to you the questions of the press because they are hard to hear because the press does not have microphones. Yeah, he looks unhealthy. That's what everybody's saying. Richard's like, 59 isn't old. I agree. Duty Ron, you want to come back in? Can you go outside and come on the phone? PJ Duderon, do you know how many boys were charged in the death of the little boy that Burke testified against while using Burke as the main witness? No. And I don't know that either, but I do know Oblivious Benson knows because we looked this case up, and you can look this case up where he was the witness, and it's out there in Judy records. It's out there in the court folder. Oh, Duderon says, I'm 1 year older than him. He looks horrible. I mean, Duderon, to me, you look like you're about 40. So I don't know. Yep. Girl Friday, caught in the act. Kind of hard to deny. Do you think he's going to get out on bail? Anybody? Chime in. Anybody? Suffolk County law enforcement, retired. Anybody? Suffolk County criminal defense attorneys. Think he's going to get out on bail? Yes. Yes. You think he's going to get out on bail? Is that a yes to that question? Or a yes to the fact that I said that you look like you're 40? Were he and Rex schoolmates? I don't think so. Why wouldn't he get bail? I don't know. Because he's a convicted felon and he was caught with drugs, or if there was, we think that we don't know that there's, we think he may be off parole. There may be a parole violation. Wait, he's out on bail already? Or he's getting out? You think he's going to get out? Wow. Wow. Well, unless they've got another reason to hold him, because they did say there could be other charges coming. They may have just wanted, and you can tell me, guys out there, law enforcement, if you think I'm wrong, they may have just wanted to get him into custody for something, and they've got some other charges pending that they already have in the bank, in the can, as it were. Yep, high profile, but he's entitled to bail. But isn't it possible that they have other charges? Everyone thinks he's going to get out on bail because they're misdemeanors, nonviolent. Yep, bail, probably get bail. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see if they have anything else on him that's more serious, that could, that's not a misdemeanor. Dawn Marie, this is what I said earlier. Rex might be snitching. Maybe there was a sting because they wanted to get him, because maybe they know more stuff. That's what I'm thinking. And if they do, look, he was the only one arrested this morning in this sting. Yeah, and he's still collecting that pension. You're right. He's getting $145,000 a month from Suffolk County Police Department. He's still getting it. Deuteron, according to the 2020 Bail Reform Act, he gets out based on these charges. Thank you, Governor Cuomo. Nice. But Deuteron, don't you think maybe they might have something else on him? And maybe, just maybe, my spidey senses are up. Maybe that's why they got him today, because maybe they have other stuff and they're just waiting. I can't imagine that they would collar him and bring him in on an offense that they would risk him getting back out on bail. No, I don't know that we ever learned what was on the tapes stolen from his patrol car. There's been chatter, and I don't even know if it's true, so I don't even want to say. But no, not to my knowledge. I really don't know. Certainly, felony charges get you bail too? Really? Huh. Okay. All right, so everybody gets a get out of jail free card. Just come on out to New York and get your get out of jail free card. Wow. Hi, Schmitty. Haven't seen you in a long time. He's former commissioner. I think he'll get out. Well, I just learned that I thought he was the former commissioner too, but he's not. He's the former police chief of Suffolk County. But yeah, no, but he tried that when they arrested him. He said, "Don't you know who I am? You can't arrest me. It's going to be publicly humiliating for me." And he tried that, but it didn't work, because we just saw a booking photo of him getting booked at the 6th precinct. So we don't know. We don't know. And that is where we are right now, folks. James Burke is out there. The media is going to follow him all over now. Yep. I think you're right. I think they will. I mean, look, the Daily Mail has that video of him just taking something out of the trunk of his car in July. Pam Payne, thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for tuning in with me and watching all of this breaking news live today. If you weren't here for the press conference, you can rewind and you can see it. We played it twice. I repeated the questions from the press, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Duty Ron was on with me earlier, only on audio, because he is putting out, a lot of proverbial fires at work today and could not get off. But I think we are going to go live later tonight, and hopefully there's going to be some more information on this. Okay, Brooklyn Pezola, this special team put together for RH are up to their necks in SW activities, searching for additional info. God knows how many times they got intel on Burke or came across him. Yeah, that we were speculating about that, and we don't know. We do not know. Maybe they want him behind bars before they announce more murder suspects he would be responsible for. Could be. Could be Michelle. Oh, Duty Ron, thank you for the super chat, $20. Thanks for all you do, Mel. Hey, Duty Ron, I couldn't do it without you. You taught me everything I know. You're my mentor and my friend. The only people who don't get bail are danger to public safety and a flight risk. Can argue that he's both of those things. But I don't know. Apparently, according to these bail reform laws in New York, anybody can get out of jail. Thank you, Maureen Francis, for the super sticker, $2.99. Thank you so much. Yeah, literally with his pants down. That's it. Oh, you missed the booking photo, Lou? All right, why don't we show it again? Show you the booking photo. And thank you to Gus Garcia Roberts on Twitter who shared this. There he is getting booked at the 6th precinct today. Earlier today. And then if you contrast that with his headshot from the police department in 2010, it's quite a difference, I think. And during the press conference, Rodney Harrison was asked whether the arresting officers recognized him. They said they didn't. I don't know that I would have recognized him either. There we go. This is official headshot from somewhere back in 2010, 2011. Oh, thank you, Duty Ron. I love your mic. It sounds awesome. Thanks for the $10 super chat. And thank you for buying me this mic. He did. He bought me this mic and he sent it to me. I think because maybe he was embarrassed to have me on as a co-host with my little headphones, with my little, earbuds, with my little microphone. So thank you, Duty Ron, for sending this to me. I think I finally figured out how to make it work right because my audio has been much better lately. But I think it was just because of that weird storm that we had that day. And the Fios was not working well. This is not even newsworthy, really? Madam Susu, where are you from? This isn't newsworthy. You don't think? You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm going to disagree with you. I know the moderators will take care of that. Yeah, right. Duty Ron, Mind of Monsters, thanks for all you do, for all the cases. It's an honor to be able to sponge all the good info I've learned from you. Yes, I think we all feel that way. Duty Ron's out there getting it done for us. Please remember to get the thumbs up on there. Thank you, Kim. This 100% is newsworthy. This has 100% everything to do with the Gilgo 4, with the serial killer Rex Heuermann, who is currently indicted on murdering 3 of the Gilgo 4. And this guy who was arrested this morning was the Suffolk County police chief who, if you want to use whatever adjective you want to use, covered it up, bungled it, didn't arrest this guy that they could have found back in 2010 who may have gone on to, perhaps kill other people. To say this is not newsworthy is laughable, but okay. I mean, I don't know where, whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. Let's see what was already done before you saw it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to. John Ray, somebody's saying have John Ray on the show. I don't know. I don't know about John Ray. I don't know John Ray. Duty Ron, I don't know if you know John Ray. Yep. I mean, yes, of course. Even if you know 100% guilt, that person's considered innocent until a conviction in court. How can anyone be against bail? I mean, I think it depends on the crime. But I mean, from what I heard in that press conference, he was in the act when he was busted today. If we're talking about this specific case, he was in the act. Long Island's going to need more attorneys. Thanks, BB&J. Yeah, so this is where we are right now. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching this breaking news with us. If anybody has any questions for Duty Ron or for me, just put them in the chat with a hashtag Duty Ron or a hashtag Melanie, and we'll try and get him, even though he can't come on the air right now, to see if he can answer them. wait, that was not what I meant to highlight because the chat is moving so fast. Roger says that the police station is literally a 5-minute walk from Veterans Park. Is that where the 6th precinct is? Very interesting. You must be local. Thank you. Thank you also to Rachela and Pete for going down there and getting us that video. Thank you, Liz, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Do you guys want to see the video that Rachela and Pete took of the location of where he was arrested? We can play that again for those of you who have just turned in that you haven't seen it. Let's see if we can get that back up here. Rachela and Pete actually got in their car during this live stream and went to the location where Burke was arrested. Since I can't hear you guys can't hear the audio on this, I'm gonna tell you what Rachela and Pete are saying during the video. They're in the parking lot of the Vietnam Memorial Park, and this is where Burke was arrested this morning, in the parking lot. This is the very small parking lot. He said, we'll see if we can take a walk up. Yes, it's right by the amphitheater and Bald Hill. Yes, this is also known as Bald Hill. It used to be, I thought, Bald Hill Park, which is what Duty Ron told us. So here's the second video of Rachela and Pete walking up to the memorial. She says, we're heading up to the memorial right now. Like Pete said, it doesn't seem to be blocked off or anything. She says, it's a little sunny. I can't see too well. Very peaceful. And there's the memorial right there. It's beautiful. Very beautiful. She says, we'll continue walking all the way up. It's beautiful. It's the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park. Yeah. Wow. What a sight, Rachela says. And that's it. God, boots on the ground. You guys were such a great team, getting out there, getting the video, getting it done during the live stream. We've already been on for 2 hours and 48 minutes. If you're just tuning in and you have not seen it, former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke was arrested today on several charges. There may be more charges to come, according to the press conference that we watched, but he was arrested this morning at 10:15 in that parking lot that you just saw. And he has so far been charged with offering a sex act, public lewdness, indecent exposure, and criminal solicitation, with additional potential charges pending. Our thought is there may be drug charges, as one of the reporters asked if there were drugs found, and also heard that there was a lighter involved. The police commissioner would not comment on that, but it seems that there are more charges coming. Duty Ron and I will be with you later. Thank you, Heidi Cakes, very much for the $5 super chat. Thank you for spending half your afternoon with us, listening at work. I wish these men wouldn't disrespect the veterans by doing this here. Yes, and according to Duty Ron, this was a well-known parking lot and area for this kind of stuff to happen. And it was well known. And the public was complaining, and that is one of the reasons that that Rodney Harrison, or one of the police officers that spoke at the press conference, said that there had been quality of life complaints from people in the neighborhood. That's why they were there. So that's all we got for you for now. But if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on your way out. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And Duty Ron and I hope to be back with you guys later tonight. And we will hopefully have some more information on this. And thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that we could all share this moment together, especially those of you that I know live in Suffolk County and on Long Island, that we have all been wondering whether Burke has some more information on the Gilgo 4, has some involvement in the Gilgo 4. Rachela, thank you for getting out in the car with your husband and going and getting us the video. Boots on the ground. Unbelievable. Thank you. Okay, guys, go take a break. Do whatever. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful afternoon, and we will come back to you later live from Long Island with more information on this breaking news about former police chief of Suffolk County, Jimmy Burke, being arrested this morning with his actual pants down. So, okay, Madam Susu. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everyone.